shelves who wouldn't be terrified by the backstage location in FNAF 1. Your first playthrough, knowing this is a horror game about animatronics who come to life, will likely make you view this whole setup in complete horror. This is, after all, where the animatronics start out in FNAF 1 before starting to roam around and trying to get into the office so they can kill you. They also have a tendency to get up real close to the camera sometimes in this location, which, as you maybe quickly flip through all the security cams, can catch you off guard and give you a bit of a scare. Number 7, your own home. While it might not be featured in the games themselves, your home can feel pretty scary as the location that is most to be the scariest of them all. I normally don't say that. I don't think Freddy's that scary, but in Special Delivery, it's pretty scary. Number 6, Parts and Service Room, FNAF 2. Another spooky area we are forced to monitor on a regular basis is the Parts and Service Room in FNAF 2. This area is often terrifying in appearance because of how dilapidated it is and how broken down and tattered the animatronics here also appear. The animatronics who have fallen into disrepair often appear here, hence the name Parts and Service. They are really only good for scraps, and you can tell that this makes them more resentful and aggressive than other animatronics. Also, Mangle. Okay, so when you see Mangle here for the first time, it's just terrifying because it looks like it's just an animatronic head and a mess of wire, and so you get a terrifying closer look when it comes for you in the office in this game. Ugh, Mangle, get out of here. Number 5, the back alley, FNAF 6. While we never actually get to properly explore the back alley that appears in Pizzeria Simulator, it is the source of all the damaged and disturbing looking animatronics that we can salvage, and any glimpses we do get of it are terrifying. It's simply not a place you'd want to wander into alone at night. Unless, of course, you really need to salvage some animatronics for a quick buck, I suppose. We also get another peek at what appears to be the back alley in the FNAF book, The Freddy Files, where we see Scrap Baby's silhouette standing in what seems to be the dim light of that alley. And yikes, that picture itself feels like something out of a nightmare. Number 4, Pirate Cove. Pirate Cove, of course, is just terrifying because of everyone's favorite and frightening animatronic, Foxy. If it's your first time playing FNAF 1 as well, and you haven't watched any videos of it being played, it's likely going to be an even more terrifying location for you if you don't give Foxy the respect he deserves and actually monitor the location properly. When Foxy starts to peek out from behind that curtain, you're likely going to be frightened, and when he comes sprinting out at you that first time, if you're caught unawares, you're going to be more than frightened, you'll be terrified. Number 3, opening title. I'm not sure if we consider this a location, but it's so frightening that we probably should. In FNAF 7, the VR game Help Wanted, the opening title is just eerie. Now, nothing can happen to you here, you can't get jump scared, but because it's VR and you can turn around feeling like you're actually in a Freddy's location yourself, while giant animatronics loom over the title looking down at you, it's pretty unsettling. The fact that the animatronics' eyes and heads seem to follow your movements and how real-like in 3D everything looks makes this one of the most terrifying opening title settings yet for the FNAF franchise, and potentially one of the most opening titles of all time. Number 2, the Scooping Room, FNAF 5. I said scooping really weird there. Scooping Room. It's an exciting word to say. One of the most terrifying places in the game is the Scooping Room, which is one of the areas in Circus Baby's entertainment and rental featured in FNAF 5's sister location. The Scooping Room isn't just terrifying because it's where you are killed and get scooped. Though, of course, there is also that. It's also just frightening enough when you wake up there the first time, hearing other animatronics be scooped and finding out that Circus Baby has basically kidnapped you and hidden you in an animatronic spring lock suit. You're then forced to fend off Ballora's mini-arenas while keeping an eye on the spring locks, so you don't die from the suit's springs and gears getting loose and skewering you. Number 1, the real Freddy's. In 2015, fans found a mysterious set of coordinates in the source code of Scott Cawson's website. Of course, Scott is often known for hiding lots of little Easter eggs in there, so fans pieced together the coordinates and entered them into Google Maps to see what kind of gem they found. The coordinates led them to a pizzeria in Virginia. This led many loyal fans to believe that Scott was trying to hint that this was the pizzeria that inspired FNAF, and maybe even was somehow distantly connected to the events of the game. However, this turned out to be false. Have also found a few pizzerias with Freddy in the name. Scott would later go on to dismiss any connection to any of the speculative real pizzerias, even asking fans to please stop calling any locations that bear similarity to the restaurant franchise featured in the games, as it was disruptive to these legitimate businesses. Still, although this proved to be just a fluke, wouldn't it be scary and cool if there was a real, potentially haunted or dilapidated pizzeria that inspired the game? We have the comments today. Be sure to comment below for a chance to have your thoughts and your feels shouted out in a future video. This has been Top 10 Gaming, and I'm your host, Amanda McKnight, reminding you to keep on gaming on. Pew pew!
Thanks, Sister Location. You just made my job so much harder. Is Ennard like the walking incarnation of how tangled the FNAF storyline is? Because seriously, this is pretty much what the timeline looks like to everyone. Just a big, fat, nope. But that's why I'm here. I've been working very hard to try and untangle this story so we can all start to understand it. Now, I'm not claiming to have solved FNAF. Even in a lifetime, I don't think I could claim something like that.
Oh.
But at one point in time, Scott did say all the questions we have about these games can be answered. And in this series, I'll answer all of those questions you've been asking, alongside a complete timeline.
Oh. No, bot, sorry. Right. Oh, no.
Just as a warning, all the years that are mentioned in this theory are estimates and could be slightly off. Without any further ado, let's jump right into the timeline, where it all began, Fredbear's Family Diner, in 1975. We still don't know much about Fredbear's. In fact, this is the only little bit of it we get to see. On the stage stands two golden animatronics, Fredbear and Spring Bonnie. From what we know, golden animatronics are used as suits for employees to entertain with. They also double as animatronics that don't require a human to operate. In FNAF 3, we see someone entering a golden suit, along with FNAF 4. Inside of the Spring Bonnie animatronic is a man named William Afton. William is one of the main characters of Five Nights at Freddy's. He's a brilliant man when it comes to robotics. In fact, it's likely William is the inventor of these Springlock suits, since he owns Afton Robotics, and probably runs it himself. The job was great for supporting his small family, which included his wife and his son Michael, who was around the age of 5. Michael was the black sheep of the family, though. The TV show you watch at the end of every night in Sister Location is an analogy to William's real family situation. Him and his wife got into a huge fight when William claimed that his wife actually had an illegitimate child. It's very likely this is not the case at all, since later on Michael is... Spring Bonnie never made the cut, and was left at the empty and abandoned Fredbear's Family Diner. This is because the suit was tied to the previous kidnapping, and Fazbear Entertainment no longer wanted to be associated with that one bit. They didn't catch William, but they did know which suit was used. William was still a very important part of the company, since he was the mechanic and the inventor. During the opening of this restaurant, Fazbear Entertainment hired another character most of us know as Phone Guy. He worked as a security guard, something they needed in the last failed business. During this prosperous time, William's wife had 2 more children, a girl and a boy. William loved his kids and tried his best to protect them. They grew up going to Freddy's quite regularly and loved the characters there. The characters at this establishment include Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy, Fredbear, and the puppet. In the minigames of this location, you can see a pink figure, which we know to be William Afton. But then, there's a question as to why is William pink? This explanation will sound crazy, but later events we'll see in the timeline will back this up. William, being the brilliant man he is with robotics, was able to discover a way to make himself immortal through the use of his inventions. A downside to this is that it caused skin to rot over time. William kidnaps children and uses them for his work, in ways we still aren't really sure of entirely. We'll be going into that a bit more in the future, but we do know for a fact that these kids end up dead. The first few kids that disappear in Freddy's are a group of 5 children seen in this minigame. One minute the kids are there, the next, they're gone. And Poop Guy is on the scene. He had hid their bodies inside of the animatronics. All that's left is the wandering spirits. Not long after, William takes another victim, this time outside the restaurant, possibly hiding the body in his trunk. But William is caught by his own wife. She sees this one occur, or finds out about it. She becomes furious and possibly confronts him about it. In the end, she doesn't make it out alive. It's likely William felt he had no choice but to silence her and hide her death from his children. His wife becomes an extremely restless spirit, leaving behind her children and finding out her husband was nothing like she thought. She decides to get revenge on her former husband and possesses the puppet, who in turn wakes up the spirits inside of the animatronics to also get their revenge against William. Once again, the TV show and sister location parallels this in the title. The Restless referring to the wife, and Immortal referring to William, and later on Michael. Not long after the kids were killed, the restaurant was threatened to have the place shut down because of the stench of the animatronics. Before they had to be forcibly closed, Fazbear shut it down themselves, demanding William to fix the animatronics, which was one of his duties. He removed the bodies, but even with them gone, they were still far from perfect. Before Freddy's was closed, William had been working very hard at his more improved Springlock suits that used face plates. We can't be certain which animatronics were finished at this point, but we do know of one, Spring Chica. After their completion, Fazbear Entertainment agreed to let William Afton open up his own sister location. This sister location, owned by William, was named Chica's Party World, where Spring Chica took the lead. Along with Spring Chica, it's likely the original Ennard character had a body and was used as a spring suit, and Chica had carried around the golden cupcake, which is seen in FNAF 3. Other characters could have been used here as well, but we can't be sure. It's very likely 5 more children were killed here as well, with one of them becoming restless. The FNAF 3 minigame that shows Chica's Party World has a hidden screen where 5 crying childlike cupcakes sit in shadows. Only one of them moves though. This is the restless spirit that cannot pass on. During this time, William opens another location. That or this was a room or area in another location, known as BB's Air Adventure. Here 2 characters were the main entertainment, Balloon Boy and JJ.